It's the end of the season for the Washington, D.C. Region SCCA iRacing League, and the winter of 2020 is coming to a close. Welcome to the final round of the spring running of the DC SCCA iRacing League, and we're here now at New Jersey Motorsports Park in the iRacing.com simulator. Finian, tonight we're going to round up a championship at a racetrack that looks a little bit less complete than we'd like it to be, but going to be a fun racing night. 2 races, 15 and 20 minutes, and a 4-point deficit between Ryan Maloney and Ken O'Seal at the top of the standings.
Yeah, and both those drivers, both at the top of the charts currently in qualifying as it's underway. Second is Ken O'Seal, and third is Ryan Maloney. And so far in this scenario, it would be Maloney taking the championship. Again, it's really close between these two guys. Remember, there's 2 races tonight.
Yeah, so 2 races on the line this evening, and you take a look around. For those that are not familiar with iRacing or not familiar with New Jersey Motorsports Park, this track is classified as a tech track. And what does that mean? Well, it was never completed, so it sits in a state of disrepair, I guess is the best way to say it. And we'll take a look from up above. This is what the track looks like, and all the gray dots you see, that is the raw laser scan data that has yet to be interpreted by iRacing. So the track is perfectly raceable, and it's New Jersey Motorsports Park, but everything outside of it, empty void.
Yeah, it's an empty void, yeah, as you're saying, for the most part.
So just so that you're aware, if you're new to the simulator and aren't understanding why there's no trees or no grass, that's why. But tonight, really expecting some good racing. This racetrack is an excellent club-level circuit, Finian. It's narrow, it's quick, it's got wide curbs on track out, and it's just a great racetrack for club-level entertainment.
Here's what I would argue is probably one of the more difficult corners to navigate through, mainly because it's really hard to sight your apex here. It's a decreasing
decreasing radius? That's the word you're looking for.
Yes. Decreasing radius corner. Really hard to navigate through, but now through the S's ending the lap is Francois Brou, currently in 12th. We'll see if he can improve his time. Yeah,
so the other thing about this racetrack, fitting, is this is the Thunderbolt configuration. There are 2 configurations of New Jersey Motorsports Park, Thunderbolt and Lightning. And only the Thunderbolt version is here represented in iRacing tonight. Brou is going to come across line a 132.401. Not good enough to improve. Charles Boley, the only other driver on track at the moment. 2 minutes left in qualifying before we start our 15-minute race this evening.
Actually just went off the track too, so I don't think he's going to have enough time to even put another lap in.
So let's just review the season as a whole. This is the first time that we've seen these Skip Barber cars races. Boley goes around for a loop. The first time that we've seen these cars race, Finian, and these have been an incredibly entertaining group to watch, not only because of the drivers that are here, but also this car. Now, the Skip Barber Racing School just announced they're coming back this year with Formula 4 cars. But this is the version that they used about a decade ago, and this is just such a spectacular race car to drive, and it puts on really solid racing.
Oh, I didn't know the thing with the Formula 4 cars is pretty cool.
Just announced the other day.
Yeah, so cool to see that. Hopefully you get that for cars.
Yeah, it's pretty similar to the Formula Renault 2.0, so I'm not thinking it's a priority. But again, this car, it slides around a lot. It doesn't have a lot of aero. It doesn't have a lot of tires, so it's just a great way to get experience behind the wheel of a race car at a limit that's safe enough for most drivers. Also, with the addition of iRacing's new tire model, as well as the new damage model, this car has been entertaining to watch, not only when it races well, but also when it has an accident as well.
Yeah, you see Thomas Lee going off in the first part. And then the first 3 turns of this track, all high-speed corners, so the first half of the lap is going to be very interesting, especially on the starts of these races, because these guys, and you can see too, for the first half of the lap, these guys are just chucking these cars into these corners.
Yeah, this car is very chuckable in general, but when we get to the race here, we've got 25 drivers signed up for this here tonight, and it's not necessarily a small, in terms of length, circuit. It's pretty long, but it's not super wide, especially when you get down to some of these corners, only about 2.5, 3 lanes wide, which means on the initial start, it's going to be pretty wild, especially heading down into turn 1, Finney, because that big, tall curb on the inside will get you. You will bottom out your race car in one of these Skip Barber cars.
You can even see, too, you can see the line on the left side of the racing surface, the way we're looking at it, you can see it narrow down quite a bit by at least a lane or so heading down into turn 1. So these guys have to be careful with that, otherwise you can see a lot of accidents down there.
Checkered flag waves in qualifying. Ken O'Seal and DJ Alessandrini are on the front row here tonight, and we're going to wait to get gridded up as we're going to head down to the racetrack and wait for everybody to line up here. And we will have a short pace lap. There's Christopher Lapras is on board. And we'll roll through our starting lineup here tonight on the front row. Ken O'Seal, the number 23. He is chasing Ryan Maloney in the points championship, 4 points back. He'll start alongside DJ Alessandrini in the 61.
Yeah, then moving on back, we have Christopher Lapras in the 3 car, going to be lining up in third next to Ryan Maloney in the 15 and 4th, trying to defend the championship. It's going to be a tight battle.
In row number 3, It's 5th place Evan Schickel in the number 33 car, and James Hauser in the 75. He rolls off 6th place tonight.
And moving on to 7th, you got Max King in the 139, who's going to be lining up in the inside next to, in 8th place, Michael Shea in the 78.
In 9th place tonight, Jake King in the number 39 car starts alongside David Alessi in the 34, recent winner as of last week. He's going to try to go back-to-back this time in a different car.
Moving on back to 11th, we got Robert Porter in the 136, going to be lining up next to Francois Brou in the 69 in 12th.
In 13th place, Will Robbins in the number 8 alongside Sean Cromwell in the number 1. That's that white car back there. He's been mighty competitive. We'll see if he can climb up from a starting position of 14th tonight.
Another row back, we find David Stern in the 25 and 15th, and Chad Griffith in the 826 and 16. About the rest of your roll across the bottom.
Yeah, a lot of new drivers here tonight. Some new names that we haven't heard from yet. So this is going to be their first opportunity. Tires warming here, and you're going to try to get these things up to temp as quickly as you can. You see DJ Alessandrini weaving that car back and forth and aggressively trying to get heat built in those tires before we go green. And see everyone trying to follow and do the same.
Whoa.
Yeah, 15 minutes on the board. At least this actually works now. Yeah. Before it was better to just drag your brake, but 25 drivers on the grid tonight. Make that 24. Chip Disharoon did not take the grid for tonight's event. We haven't seen Chip since the season opener way back at Summit Point, so he will not make this race. DJ Alessandrini will have drivers left off into turn 1. Ken Ausil on pole. Will it be on drivers right? That's the preferred line down into the first corner. A right-hander. It's actually 2 right-handers, the second of which is uphill over a blind crest, so drivers deeper in the field need to keep their eyes peeled as we come to the green flag here momentarily. The DC Region SCCA iRacing League has run 8 events throughout the spring of 2020. If you're interested, you can check out their website or their Facebook page, the Washington DC Region SCCA. Time to go racing. Final corners here before we get rolling. Field peeling through the S's under the Subaru bridge and onto the front straightaway. Being aggressive tonight, taking opportunities when you get them. Pace car's about to peel off. And it'll leave Ken Ausil on that black and orange 23 in control of the field, and it's slow 40 miles an hour through the final corner. Green flag flies and we're racing for the final time this season for the Washington, D.C. Region SCCA iRacing League from New Jersey Motorsports Park. So far, so good through the first couple corners. No incidents to speak of. Everybody gets single-filed out. Finian, how cautious are you going to be here early while the tires are still coming up to temp?
Definitely want to be a little bit more cautious on moves I would probably make later in the race, especially dives into some of these corners, especially on the faster ones. You see everyone working through turns 4 and 5.
Deeper in the field, how about this little bit of a gaggle? There's the 36, that's wide, that's Christopher Moody. And he'll have to pull that car back on course, and it's really rough out there, and off go was Boley in the 22, and damage to another car. That was Alessi in the 43.
Trying to see if he damages the 43's wheel. I'm curious of the way he spun, if that right rear is damaged. Looks like he's alright.
Looks okay to me. Back up towards the front. Big slide. That's Francois Brou in the 69. He'll pull it back on course. Here's DJ Alessandrini chasing down Ken Ausil for the top spot.
Yeah, look how close it is amongst the first 7-8 cars in line. Pulling behind the leader.
And behind him, there's Max King following a battle for 5th. That's Hauser on the inside of the black car. Evan Schickel in the red and white car right in front. And Ryan Maloney, the current points leader, he's going to have to do a whole lot to keep Ken Ausil at bay. That's that blue car in 4th. First lap complete, and Ausil's going to lead it. Out of line in the background, you see the 34, that's David Alessi. He's right next to Michael Shea for the lead.
Yep, Alessandrini up the inside, looks like Ausil.
Oh, he's out of control! And Alessandrini's sliding through turn 1. He's going to get it back on course, but lose a bunch of positions and tumbles down the order through the first corner.
Oh, and still a black car out wide. It's James Hauser in the 75 out wide in turns 1 and 2. He's going to finally get it back on track. There he goes.
Now the 136, Robert Porter also struggling to keep the car on track. Yeah, a lot of drivers struggling. Moody's around in turn 1 as well.
And this is what I was worried about with some of these guys. Again, do a very demanding part of the track. You need a lot of grip, and the tire's still not warmed up completely yet.
Riding on board with Will Robbins, he had an off at the exit of turn 2. And Waiting for these tires to get all the way up to operating temp so you can push it to the limit. Alessandrini slots back to 6th. Hausil, Lapras, Maloney, Schickel, and Max King, your top 5. Nick Babin in the 41, he's gone around.
Background looks like he doesn't have any damage, so just a spin from the 41.
Let's see if he got the car out of shape on corner entry. And kind of downshifted a little messy there, and that's what hit him in. And slow, lazy spin. Lapras in the number 3 is half a second behind Ken Hausil. We'll see if he's got anything for him. And this racetrack is one of those tracks where if you've got real-life experience here, it will help you, because this is not a track that a lot of iRacers practice very much. Not a lot of iRacers even own this track because of its unfinished state. So if you've run laps here in real life, you certainly have an advantage over those who have never seen it before.
I was going to say, I think there's a lot of iRacers who don't even know this track exists, on the surface at least.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of buried down. Ooh, another car off wide. It's David Alessi in the 34.
And whoa, tight quarters with the 75 of Hauser. They just give each other enough space. And they're going to continue side by side.
Down to turn 3 now.
Whoa, big slide right in front of the 34. He's going to get clipped and turned back across the racetrack. Goes Hauser into the wall. And damage the front wing.
Yeah, and wheel too.
And the rear wing's also torn up on that car. How quickly things can go south. Just lost control over the edge of the curbing, Finian, and around he went. Will Robinson is number 8, started 13th. He's up to 11th, chasing Porter and Michael Shea in front of him. For second place, though, a battle beginning.
Yeah, and this is important for Ryan Maloney. He has to finish as close as he can to Ken Hausil, at least in this first race. Again, still got the points lead, but he actually still keep that points lead if he can finish in second by 1 point. So this is important because that pass is trying to make here.
The 15 is Ryan Maloney. And trying to chase down Ken Hausil. He's got 2 races to do it, but if Ken eats into the lead here, it's going to make race 2 a whole lot harder, because we've seen how good Ken is. And battle for second onto the front straightaway, door to door as they head down the front.
Door to wheel to wheel. In this case, for the Skip Barbers down towards turn 1. Here comes Maloney on the outside with a run. It's going to be hard to pull off here. He's going to try to outbrake the 3, and he's going to get it done. And Maloney, this is going to be the tough thing to do. Can he catch up to Ken Hausil? Hausil already pulling a 1.3 second gap back to second place.
James Hauser has just hit pit lane to service that car for the damage he got last lap around. Lapras all over the back of Ryan Maloney, pushing the issue here because he knows Hausil's starting to get away.
Here he comes, look up the inside. No, it's going to back out.
Behind, Robert Porter has dropped a spot. Will Robbins up to 10th in the number 8. David Alessi in the 34. He's up a car behind, slipping and sliding. I thought that was Chad Griffith, potentially?
Yeah, that was for a wild ride through turn 5. Looking in the background of this shot, you can see David Allison.
David. that is his name, but I don't think I've ever called him that.
No.
But.
On the stream, it says DJ Allison doing the 61 and 5th currently, and yeah, I thought he would have dropped a little bit further back, was able to get back going immediately again. And currently in 5th, but trying to catch back up to potentially first. I definitely think he's going to try, but looking at second at least for now.
Yeah, he did a really good job not to entirely loop the car around when he got loose in turn 1. That thing was about as sideways as you could possibly get it, and he managed to keep it going straight. Meanwhile, for second, look at that, inches between these two. Lapras is going to hang on, but Maloney wants this badly because Hausil continues to stretch the gap. That time he was a half a second quicker than both Lapras and Maloney.
Yeah, not surprised. These guys are kind of busy battling amongst themselves, and then also right behind them, Evan Schickel in the 33 waiting to get a spot.
Got to slide these cars around. And, side by side again. Lapras crowding Maloney off the driver's left just slightly, and Schickel's not going to have a run to the outside. Maloney goes to cover. Hausil's lead is extended to 1.8 seconds. And it's a 4-car fight for second place now.
Maloney really close to the 3. I'm worried if he's going to make contact with him.
A lot of right-hand cornering here, and it's so difficult to get a nose to the inside of somebody, especially through this decreasing radius right-hander. And even Max King is starting to get into the picture here. And that red car right behind DJ Alessandrini.
Yeah, 5-car battle, more or less for second place in a train, while Halseal extending the lead now to 2 seconds.
Driving away, he has a chance to win the championship, and 2 race wins tonight would pretty much do it for him if Maloney can't improve his position from 3rd. He's going to try again side by side down the front straightaway. Off into turn 1. Will they get together? This is such a high-speed corner. Maloney takes 2nd place away cleanly over Lapras.
Well, Lapras not done yet. Going to try to take a run out of turn 1 into turn 2, but can't get it done. Going to be blocked by Maloney.
Evan Schickel now sees an opportunity. He's going to sit in behind. Look at that. Inches between his front wing and the rear end of the gearbox area of the 3 of Lapras. Here he comes up the inside.
This is going to be good for Maloney as they go side by side.
Oh, the Lapras is off in the dirt. Big dive in the grass, contact, and over goes the 33 off the racetrack. Wasn't going to work. Evan Schickel gets the short end of the stick here. Here's another look. He got off in the grass and he gets back on, but by then it was too late. He missed his braking point and slides in there, and Schickel gets the short end of the stick, and he'll tumble back to 12th in the standings.
Try to look at the wing and that.
Looks, it got some damage on the right corner of it, but otherwise it's okay. I would be more concerned about his left rear suspension, but he's driving away straight, so he should be fine.
Probably going to be disappointed, though. We're looking at 2nd place there.
This is 8th place. Sean Cromwell in the number 1. Robert Porter behind. 6 minutes to go in this first race of the night. We'll have a 20-minute race right after this, based on the finishing order from the first race. And Halseal, his lead is 2.1 seconds. And Maloney was a full 2/10 slower, but now with the other drivers clear, I wonder if he can build a run on this leader. But look at this fight for 8th place through turn 1.
Yeah, a mess of cars down into the corner, and there you see Will Robbins in 10th. In the back of this picture, right behind that purple car ahead of him.
Started 11th up to 9th. Cromwell beginning to build a gap on them. Started 14th up to 8th, so +6 for Cromwell tonight.
Yeah, massive gap between Cromwell and David Alessi in 7th place, 4.4 seconds between them.
Major battles on the racetrack have somewhat died other than this 8th place fight. And Porter's going to try to cross up underneath the 1. Opportunity opens. He's going to try to stick the nose up underneath. And he's there.
Yeah, this is going to be a difficult corner to make a pass on, continuously turning right. You would think the guy on the inside has the advantage, not necessarily.
Yeah, the outside, he can carry a lot more momentum out there, and this will cut back to the left here shortly, and Cromwell will have driver's left advantage here, and he will. This is an even tighter corner, so he's going to re-clear Porter. How frustrating is that for the 136?
Porter's trying to get a run, gas it up a little bit too soon. Here he comes now with another run out of the corner.
Oh, look up the inside. No hole there. He tried to get the nose in there, but it's too late by the time he got it in.
This section is pretty much full throttle here at the end of the lap, and he's going to throw up the inside on those curves. You got to be careful with those curves. If you mount them too much, you get a cut course penalty.
Yep, that was 4 tires off to the inside, up the road. Max King and Lapras, they just cleared each other. There's David Alessi and Jake King in the 39. Oh, there's a crash. Cromwell off in the dirt. And gets it back rolling. Had a lot of grip there in the grass, all things considered. Here's a look. Yeah, hooked together. Wow, that grass looks grippy.
Yeah. I also like a Porter's car just kind of chucked him off track as they made contact. Ooh, and
Michael Shea in the 78. That's that black and white car on the inside. The purple car is Robert Porter, and Evan Schickel trying to make up for the spin he had a couple laps ago on the outside.
Whoa, just slowed himself to the outside 3 wide through turn 5.
Racetrack's wide, but maybe not quite enough.
No, well, Schickel made it work. He got 1, now 2 as he's trying to get to the inside.
Went from 12th to 9th in like 2 corners. That was a really impressive move. Shea and the one of Cromwell now fighting for what will be 11th place.
Cromwell going to have a dive up the inside, going to get the spot.
I think Michael Shea might have lifted to help facilitate that pass. Meanwhile, for 2nd place, Maloney has not been able to break away from DJ Alessandrini nor close in on Ken Halseal. With 3 minutes to go, that's about 3 laps left here. I think Ken Halseal sitting in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, definitely. And looking at the way the points is going to end up after this race as they run right now, if Maloney finishes in 2nd place, that means that he'll have a 1-point advantage to Halseal. If DJ, as you see him make a pass on the inside, Maloney going to barely clear him.
Yeah, he really wanted to hold that spot, wasn't able to. And Alessandrini will go back to P2. Meanwhile, David Alessi and Jake King side by side through turn 1. Now through turn 2, high-speed corner. The 34 is going to go way off in the dirt.
Might have been some contact with them or close to it. I think Alessi had to back out of that, went wide.
Louis Alessi in the 43 has not had the night to really speak of. Started in 17th. He's back down to 21st. That's got to be a cut.
That's an interesting line.
And I'm surprised that, yeah, he's going to have to pull over and let some time go.
I would hope so.
Lapras and Max King still fighting for 4th.
Whoa, with the outside, going to be a little bit wide. And now switching back to the right. Max King is looking way around here. Here's the long right-hander.
He's trying to kind of late apex this, but it's so difficult because the apex is pretty much everywhere. And he'll have to sit in behind Lapras. Might have a run on in the front straight.
Best opportunity to really get a nice run down the straightaway and make a slingshot pass.
Christopher Moody crashed in the 36. Got the arm coat pretty good. He'll retire the car with only about a minute and a half left. Maloney side by side with Alessandrini again. Through turn 1, he's got the spot.
And not over yet. Oh, as he goes wide, he's going to block Alessandrini going to turn 2, nowhere for DJ to go.
Oh, over the crest of the hill. Battle for 2nd place. It's all happening 3 seconds behind House Seal. DJ takes a look but has to get back in line for the King. Here he comes up the inside for a right-hander, all out of shape over the crest of the hill. They leave each other enough space, now a left-hander.
It's going to be hard for DJ to pull off on the outside lane. Might have to back out of it for now. He's going to get a good run off the corner, though. Here he comes back again.
53 seconds left. This might be checkered this time by. Could be white flag, but we'll see.
I think we'll still have one more lap, but it's going to be close.
Into the long right-hand sequence, Maloney, Alessandrini for 2nd. DJ saw a hole and couldn't quite fit. A little bit of contact there. And slinging the cars back around for the left-hander. For Ken Ausil, he's led every single lap since the drop of the green flag. We've got 25 seconds left. Coming through the final corner, he will see the white flag. It'll be one more lap around New Jersey Motorsports Park for race number 1 of the night. And only by about 15 seconds, Maloney and Alessandrini continue their battle for 2nd. Meanwhile, Cromwell and David Stern in the 25, they're trading spots back and forth.
Damage to the one car of Sean Cromwell from an earlier incident. Going to get on by David Stern.
Here comes Alessandrini. Looking behind him. There's a car in the dirt. That's Max King in the 139. And Alessandrini re-clears for 2nd, for 3rd, or for 4th place rather. King's going to have it. Lapras right on the tailpipes of the 139.
Yeah, make some contact. Goes to tail between the two. Lapras not done yet. Going to look to the outside heading to turn 3.
Oh, no space there. Behind them, more cars fighting through turn 1. Evan Schickles back up to 8th place. Porter and Will Robbins almost getting together at the exit of turn 2.
Single file out for the next corner. Change. Ooh.
Up front, again for 2nd, Maloney and Alessandrini side by side. Will they make contact this time?
Wrestling on each other, leaning on each other here through the final half of a lap.
Alessandrini trying to stay on the inside curb. Is going to drift out, almost making wheel-to-wheel contact. About as close as you can get here.
Yeah, this is what we're talking about here. It's the outside versus the inside lane through this corner.
Wheel-to-wheel, nose-to-nose, final couple of corners. Maloney re-clears. This could be crucial in the championship battle. Final few corners. Ken Ausil is going to come out of it. He'll pick up the checkered flag. But for Maloney and Alessandrini, it'll be a drag race back to the finish.
That's right. Oh, as DJ takes his nose cone off.
Oh, contact at the very end. Oh. Crash. Upside down goes the 61, tumbling through the dirt.
Oh.
And Max King is going to come on through. Will he get 2nd place? At the checkers, Max King comes through for a 2nd. Maloney drops to 5th at the very end. Make it 4th.
Oh, man.
Wow. And that could be crucial in the championship battle.
That's going to hurt him in the points.
And more cars, more trouble as Griffith is going to bring the tail end of the field back on through. Wow, that was a dramatic way to end it.
That was a spectacular wreck.
Sure was. And we'll look at this again. Coming through the final corner, and I think DJ's there, and I'm not sure if Maloney gave him enough space. But tumbled through the dirt.
I was on board with Alessandrini.
And we'll really see what he got to see. And So the question is, does he have a nose to the inside? They made contact here. He turned the 15 to get him sideways. Now he's there. And he's got overlap here, Finian. What's your thought?
I mean, I think that's kind of more of a racing incident.
Wow.
Yeah.
What an accident.
That's amazing.
Again, he had overlap, but it was kind of a... He kind of made the overlap by turning the 15 out of the way in the first place.
Yeah, it's a really tough call there. I think just a racing incident. Just due to the nature of the corner they're approaching to, but man,
wow.
I've never seen a car tumble back to front like that in the air. That was spectacular.
What a crazy accident in the final corner. Checkered flag for Ken Ausiel. He was the one that got it done at the end of the race. Max King snuck away a second. Maloney tumbles to fourth, and that could be crucial in the championship standings because, as I understand, Finian, it's going to be awful close, potentially even tied as we enter the final race of the night here.
No, actually, it's probably going to be worse than that for Maloney. I think he's going to drop further back because the gap was looking at 4 points by the points they're given. So looking at a 7-point difference, so he's going to be at a disadvantage to Ausiel by 3 points.
Oh, he's going to have to go out there and win this thing, I'm sure. Ausiel has been so good tonight. We're going to check in with these drivers again. Stay with us for about 5 to 10 minutes when we're back for race number 2. Stay put. We'll be right back.
Would you like to have a career in racing, and if so, what would you like to do, Dale?
Well, I want to be a race car driver someday. That's, it's all I've ever known, racing.
What did you want to be when you grew up? So many people live a life of what if. Go to school. Go to college. Get a 9-to-5. This is how we support our dreams. With a safety net. Because we're unsure about taking a leap of faith. Because we're afraid. As we grow, we cross things off our list of dreams. We cut them down, make them realistic. Having control of things is reassuring. But for some, the rush of being out of control is what gives them life. Some say racing cars is reckless. Maybe they're right. Out of bounds isn't just cheating, it's cheating death. Football fields made up in seconds. Decisions made in instants. For the people that climb behind the wheel of these cars, they're not driving it. They become part of it. It's an extension of the body. As a child, I looked up to these people, faces hidden by helmets. The less you saw of the driver, the more believable it became that they were, in fact, just part of the machine. It's easy to forget that inside the cockpit is someone just like us, but with the mindset that fear is a motivation, not a barrier. But the reality is, race car drivers are not like us. They never cross anything off their list of dreams. They just keep writing more. Daytona.
This is the finish of the Daytona 500. Side by side.
Le Mans. Indianapolis. Monaco. Places that used to be just places, now international symbols of victory. To those that enjoy the spectacle of racing, the 2 feet of concrete and steel cables are a wall between us and them, between sitting in the grandstands and standing in victory lane. These same walls are a stark, immovable reminder that racing drivers put their lives on the line for the sake of the thrill and entertainment. Despite the risk, despite the heartbreak,
Oh my gosh!
despite the cost. There are some on the sidelines who are fascinated by the danger. They are fascinated by speed, fascinated by the undying desire to be just a little bit better. Their dreams erased by geography, finances, or the lack of a famous last name. There are some who once wished to be a race car driver, but aren't because they didn't get the chance. And they thought they'd spend the rest of their lives watching their heroes on television or from the other side of the fence. They thought it was impossible to climb into a race car, so they crossed it off their list. But it's not impossible. There is a ticket to the other side of the fence. For those who want it bad enough, this is your chance.
The first race here tonight at New Jersey Motorsports Park had a wild ending with championship leader Ryan Maloney tangling with DJ Alessandrini in the final corner, ending ultimately in Maloney tumbling down the standings to 4th, and he's going to be 2nd in the championship standings coming into this final race. He's how many points back, Finian?
Yeah, so Maloney is 3 points back from House Hill after dropping down the order at the very end of race number 1. So it's pretty much going to be in a situation where if Maloney wins the second race and House Hill finishes in 2nd, then it will be a tie in the points, which should go to Maloney, who has more wins. So that's how it's looking. If they finish further on the points, we'll kind of keep you updated as to how it's going to look. But more or less, I think it's going to come down to who's going to win this race.
Christopher Lapras put on a heck of a show inside the top 5 as well, and he's currently warming up a little bit quicker than than Ken Ausiel. So what are the chances that Ken Ausiel doesn't win this race? He was so solid in race 1. I'm not sure if anybody's got the pace to catch him, not even DJ Alessandrini.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if Maloney can keep up with House Hill. I think he might have the pace again, just kind of falling off, being back in traffic. I think by the time he got into 2nd place, House Hill was already up the road.
And tonight, I think what the big discussion has been is around these corners. Turns 1, turn 3, turn 5. Fast corners, Finian, and you don't have any downforce in these cars, or very little. So when you get into these corners, you're sliding the car sideways. And if you're alongside somebody, the chance you make wheel-to-wheel contact are quite high. And we saw what happens with wheel-to-wheel contact. You get your car launched in the air. So you see right there, you're leaning so much on the sidewall of the tire to carry you through the corners, Finian. I'm just concerned that for our championship leaders or our race leaders, that if they get alongside somebody, they could get themselves knocked off the track and into the dirt. So we got about 2 minutes and 50 seconds left in warm-up. And DJ Alessandrini had a big slide in turn 1 on like lap 2 last race and ended up finishing down the order because he crashed in the final corner, but he had charged his way back forward. Do you think he's got the pace to beat Ken Ausiel?
I think he does. I'm actually not sure where he ended up finishing back in race number 1. Actually,
It's down the order. He didn't make it back to the checkers, and there was only a few DNFs.
Let's see. Why don't you change it? Back in 21st.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Oh, is that what you're saying? Oh,
I was saying, he never made it back
okay.
to the checkers, is my point.
So he's got a long way to go.
A lot of drivers looking for a redo in this one. Max King also had quite a bit of pace in the first race. Wasn't able to get up towards Ken Ausiel at the end, but he did end up finishing in 2nd, I believe in 2nd place or close to it. Where did King finish? Yeah, 2nd place. So I think the 139's got pace. The first lap is crucial to stay with drivers like Ausiel and Alessandrini. And we saw how much it affected DJ when he slid. Took him the entire race to catch back up even to the 2nd place cars. Round goes another driver. That was Francois Brou in the number 69. Evan Schickel.
Yeah, went up 2nd on the chart so far. Obviously, guys, is kind of warming up now, but he was looking pretty fast in race number 1. Had he not gotten involved in an incident that put him back down the order, he could have definitely been up there competing for the win.
Yeah, he got turned around in this very corner.
He's able to recover back to 7th place, though, so that's where he will start for this one. A decent starting spell for the 33, and eventually could end up getting to the front quick enough. And again, I think really the big thing is going to be sticking with House Hill for the race win, because obviously House Hill will be starting on pole. It'll be easy for him to run away with this.
I love watching on this car in particular the suspension when the wheels travel over curves.
Oh, yeah.
It's very satisfying. A lot of these curves don't have any profile to them, but the ones that do, you can watch the wheel kind of bounce over each edge of the curbing, and it's very satisfying. We'll wait till he comes on through to the final corner here in a moment. Watch this right front tire as he heads over the curb on driver's right here. Very subtle. Very fun. I have an obsession with curbing.
It's an unhealthy.
I find it a fascinating safety feature because it's so passive. You know? Because it's a multi-purpose thing. It keeps the grass from getting on the racetrack. Gives the drivers a little extra, surface feature to play with to help their cars rotate. And also, they are painted so you can see where the apexes are. I think it's a smart invention. I'm glad we have them. Very grateful for curbs. Changed my life. The design is so interesting. I'm sorry. I'm ranting now. All right, race number 2 of the night is going to be a standing start, and it'll be a 20-minute race now with House Seal on pole, Max King in second. Again, the grid ordered by the starting or the finishing lineup from race number 1. So we're almost ready to go racing. The starting lineup on the left-hand side of the screen as we get ready to go. Waiting for a couple more drivers to jump up on the grid.
Yeah, Chip Disharoon is here for this race back in 25th.
His first race. This is the very, very last race of the season. And time to go. Waiting for the lights to shut off. The last race of the season for the SCCA iRacing League is green. Green flag flies. We're racing at New Jersey Motorsports Park. For the last race of the season, championship battle, Ken Seal and Ryan Maloney. Only a couple points separate them from the championship.
Down into turn 1 there, you see side by side for second place for a little bit as the rest of the field's working on through 3 wide in the background. I see DJ Alessandrini up the inside of a few cars.
Alessandrini's got a whole lot of cars to pass here. Already up to 18th, but a long way to go. For the lead, here comes King in the 139 to driver's right. Track swings back to the left here in a moment, but he's going to have a right turn here to take the lead away. King to the top spot. Maloney to 4th, trying to get through on the brakes to the outside of the 11 of Lapras.
Yeah, has to be careful he doesn't get shunted out here. If he gets moved, put out wide, he's going to lose any chance of taking the championship away.
King holds the lead. House Seal all over the back of him. Takes a look to the inside. Gets the nose there. Here he comes for the lead.
Going to try to scare King out of the spot. Going to still have a look up the inside. Going to go side by side through the long sweeping right-hander.
Oh, bit of a slide there. Some tire smoke as they lock up the tires, trying to get the car turned in.
Here's the Mexican has the advantage yet again. Needs to get clear of House Seal, and here's Lapras and House Seal side by side.
Battle for the top spot as they come to this curb. It's an invitation for a dive bomb. Big issues behind. Car upside down. It was David Stern up in front, though. Here we go. 3 abreast as they come through the final corner. King holding on to the lead. House Seal going to drag race him down the front straight, and the 11 of Lapras up the middle.
3 wide on coming to lap 2 now. And here comes Maloney as well, trying to pick a lane, pick favorites as they go down into turn 1. It's going to be Lapras.
Oh no! They get together. House Seal spins and gets clobbered. And the championship contenders are crashed in turn 1.
Oh man, that's not how you want to see it go.
And Ryan Maloney is crashed out as well. Where are they going to cycle out? Alessandrini's up to 6th through all that chaos.
How about that? I thought he was going to potentially struggle to get a top 10. Maloney's still trying to find his way back onto the racing surface and is going to end up actually behind Ken Seal.
Seal in 15th place. But this might throw the championship in a different direction. These are the points from race 1. The other closest car is Paul Gibson. Won't be a factor. I don't think DJ will be either. So it's still going to be between those 2 drivers, Finian. That was a chaotic moment.
It really was. Was not expecting that. I kind of want to go take a look back at that.
I'm nervous too because we're going to miss something else, but let's go do it.
I feel like it's definitely worth taking back considering how many cars were involved, especially who was involved.
Here's a look. Again from up above. And was it Schickel that got in here? Oh no, it was Maloney that got into the back of House Seal, and that's where it all started. Wow, all those cars. Now, does House Seal have any more significant damage is the question. He got hit pretty hard there in the right rear. I think Maloney might have escaped with slightly less damage.
I was still driving around at a pretty decent pace from what it seems, and then you can actually see Maloney in the background. So the only thing I'm worried about how Seal is the damage to his rear wing. Maloney actually got out of there scot-free.
Yeah, it looks like his car's all right, but he's going to be driving really hard to get positions back.
Seal just went into the pits.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's huge. Might have had a meatball flag here, Finian, as well, maybe for some suspension repair.
Yeah, I was going to say that's what you were talking about. It didn't break the wheel, but definitely damaged him, and he's going to be down in the pits, going to give the lead of the points as they run right now back to Ryan Maloney. David Alessi off in the dirt through turn 1, and he continues to slide off course. And huge championship implications from a crash in turn number 1. DJ Alessandrini started this race in 21st. He's up to 4th with all that big accident in turn 1. Unfortunately for DJ, though, he's got a fairly long way back up to anywhere near the top 3. With a 5-second gap to the 20 of Will Robbins in 3rd. Then you got Max King and Lapras leading this race. Lapras and King nose to tail. They continue their fight. Meanwhile, deeper in the field, Chip Disharoon, he started in 25th up to 10th.
with everything going on. Thomas Lee and Don Manning, how about this fight? Nick Babin's the blue and white car out in front, the FedEx colored car. And here comes Maloney up the inside.
This is going to be a little bit tricky to make a pass from inside. I haven't really seen everyone been able to make it work.
Oh, Shoemaker in front of them has just gone around for a spin.
Oh, he's actually able to make the pass work, and actually the 10 is going to lose another spot to Francois Brew.
Griffith and Sean Cromwell, this is for 7th place. For the lead, Max King to the inside in turn 1, wasn't able to complete the pass. Still completing nose to tail. Meanwhile, Griffith and I hear contact up the road. Who was it? Didn't see. Max King is all over Lapras.
He's been dogging for quite a while here, now trying to find a way around. Going to look on the inside, heading to turn 5. He's going to back out of it. Here's how patient Max King is going to be with this. It's pretty much this them two for the lead as they run.
Brew and Mahler have gotten together in turn 1. Another big accident down here. Here's a look. Mahler a little bit late, locked up on the brakes. 3-car accident. See the damage looping that car around.
That was Don Manning, the yellow Jordan car that got into him in the 92.
Lapras and King continue to run out front. Robbins 2.5 seconds back. Then DJ Alessandrini 4.7 behind that. James Hauser 0.3 behind him. Don Manning still trying to get that car back rolling, but I don't think that thing's going anywhere.
And gonna end up calling it quits there.
Thomas Lee in the number 10. He's got Rob Porter behind him. Might have misidentified this car, unless Babin's running the same paint. No, I did misidentify. I was referring to Thomas Lee as Nick Babin in the last battle. My mistake there. 13 minutes to go, 5 laps in. Lapras and King continue their fight, and they are pulling away from 3rd place.
Yeah, I'm curious if this is kind of a purpose that Max King has, sitting in 2nd place. He's just going to sit in 2nd up until coming to the white flag, going to try to make a pass, or make it now as he has a look up in turn 4.
Yeah, the opportunity's there, but I think King's going to... No, I thought he was going to back out, but he didn't.
Going to swing out wide to the outside, going to maybe try to do a switchback here.
Well, he got the tire in the grass and wasn't able to carry all that speed through the corner. Lap traffic up ahead. Defensive line by Lapras. He's going to go back to the racing line. King follows. The aggression level has picked up quite a bit.
Yeah, it is. I'm curious if they continue to fight like that, if the 20 of Will Robbins can come back into the picture.
Yeah, he's gained a couple tenths, but they seem to know exactly when they need to get single file out to build that gap again so that they have room to fight. Cromwell and Boley, they've just traded spots. Boley, the silver car, out of line. Lapras has a slight advantage now, but just watch King and how much time he's going to build on the straightaway with all this traffic.
He starts pulling around now.
Down a couple gears. Climb the curbs in turn 1.
And actually, they gained time on Will Robbins last lap, even though they were battling a little bit side by side. Lapper is still holding on a lead. Some lap traffic up ahead. Not true that that is Jake King and David Stern up ahead in 22nd and 21st.
Lead battle continues with 12 minutes to go. Can't peel our eyes off this.
No other real close battles on the track. Actually, they say that DJ is currently fighting with Hauser.
Yeah, Hauser's had a really good lap. He was actually he was 1,000th of a second quicker than DJ last time by. He's staying right with Alessandrini. Meanwhile, Porter, Alessi, and I believe that's Shoemaker and Thomas Lee are also in a 4-car fight for 14th. And Ryan Maloney is 5 seconds up the road from this in 13th place. And Hausiel back in 19th. Contact, and Porter's going to go around. Whoa! And David Alessi's going to drive over the top of him.
That's going to pretty much destroy his car, so both cars look like they're going to retire.
And Robert Porter's going to try to get that car turned around, but unlikely that that car will really be in raceable condition.
He's definitely has a that right front wheel has a lot of camber.
Well, going wingless. Weight savings.
That looks like a Formula Ford car.
Yeah. 10 minutes to go. Lapras, King continue to lead down. Now some lap traffic. You mentioned the 25 of Jake King. No other major battles on the racetrack at the moment other than 12th place Babin and Maloney side by side.
Yeah, there in the background. 15 trying to throw it up the inside here. Another spot for him. Gonna get clear.
So Maloney is in a great position to beat Ken Outseal. Because Ken really he's got a lot of driving to do if he wants to make up more ground, or he has to hope for more drivers to crash out in front of him.
And the thing is, you can see there's Francois Brew ahead of him. That's 5 seconds. It doesn't really look like it from the angle of the camera, but it's a 5-second gap between Brew and Outseal. And then between Brew and the next car, it's another 10 seconds, over 10 seconds. So there's not enough time left for Outseal to make up spots. He's got to hope that Maloney gets into trouble.
He's got to hope that drivers between him and Maloney have problems, because if drivers ahead of him have problems, well, won't do him any good, because Maloney will pass them as well. Lap traffic fighting in front of the leaders, and Lappers and King going to have to dispose of these drivers pretty quickly.
Here's how this is going to affect the battle here. They are going to catch him on the straightaway, so this would be good for Lappers, although I imagine we could see 3 wide here for a second. Yep, and there we go.
Here we go. Leader going to go up the middle, and looks like one of the two is going to pull off to the side.
Stern that pulled off the track, and it's still going to be J. King up ahead. And Lappers going to have a look up the inside.
And looks like he will clear the 25, and Max King is going to have to stay behind for at least the exit at turn 2. And the 25 is going to pull over and let the 139 on through. Alessandrini using every inch of the racetrack plus a few.
Yeah, this battle really intense between Alessandrini and Hauser. Has not been able to shake off the 75. Actually, both of them catching up. There's a 20 of Will Robbins right ahead of them.
Done a really good job making time together. And I'm really impressed with Hauser. This is a name that hasn't been around for very long in this series, and the key pace with DJ Alessandrini is pretty impressive. So running 4th and 5th right now, and a long way between them catching Will Robbins, but still a pretty solid run here. Chip Disharoon is fighting. That's the 34 of David Alessi, who is a lap down. But Louis Alessi in the 43 is right behind.
Yeah, there you see Louis Alessi pass David Alessi. David let the field on by. Actually, right in behind the 43 is Ryan Maloney. It's in the blue car.
And Maloney is only about a second and a half shy of still eking out a top 10 after that disastrous crash in turn 1. And the championship still up in the air. Not sure who's going to win it, but Lapper's trying to break the draft. If he can just get another couple tenths over Max King, he would be able to just drive off into the distance.
Has not been able to shake off the 139 of Max King. He's been glued to it in the back. I haven't really been able to see King try to make a pass, although I'm not sure if he's really made an earnest attempt at passing yet. Just kind of biding time. Still have 7 minutes remaining in this race.
Yeah, still wouldn't do you a lot of good to get by the leader right now unless you're confident you can pull away from the draft. You do run the risk of making a mistake and then the leader drives away from you. But with how Max King has been driving tonight, I don't really see a lot of mistakes on the accident report tonight for the 139. Ken Outseal is working over, that is Francois Brew, puts him in 16th. And Ryan Maloney is in 11th. This still might be enough for Maloney.
That should definitely be enough. Again, he has to finish at least 3 positions ahead of Outseal, because pretty much past 3rd place is all in increments of 1. Pointing down to, I think, 20th position.
In the background, Alessandrini and Hauser continue their fight for 4th.
Whoa, that was a
big dive.
Yeah, that was. Hauser going to get a nice run off the corner and get a little bit of a tow as well from the 61. Hauser will look up through the final corner.
We saw that working the opposite way for DJ Alessandrini in race 1. But that time he'll heed caution, and for the lead. Here comes King with a run at the exit of turn 1, but it's so difficult to build a run anywhere but the front straight here if anybody's running out of laps. 6.5 minutes to go.
Car goes spinning off of the track.
It's a 78 car, I believe, Michael Shea.
Yeah. Might have just caught grass and exit here.
Yeah, it's so easy to do. Just caught the grass, and he's going to spin hard into the inside. And kept it out of the wall, but will drop down the order even more. Been a bad race, too, for him. Meanwhile, for the top spot, 10th between them. And Chad Griffith and Charles Boley, these guys are fighting for 7th. Griffith is in that white-blue 826, and then the 18's in the gray car.
Yeah, Evan Chickle's riding behind him, but he's a lap down, was involved in that giant crash in turn 1.
Ryan Maloney up to 9th.
Still has a few more spots to gain with Boley and Griffith up ahead.
Bob Shoemaker a little slow, got out of line with the whatever car that was in front of him. It's the 10 of Thomas Lee. So up in front, 5 minutes to go here, and we're going to have about 4 laps to go, give or take.
Pretty much racing back to the line for these guys here. And here comes Max King again with the run.
Here he comes. He's going to take a look.
This is a really solid attempt. Great run down into turn 1.
Will he be able to hold it, though, is the question. He might be able to clear the 11, but oh no, side by side still as they're going to crest the hill for turn 2. And Lapras gets past, but now is it going to be able to be held on to? Oh, Maloney, trouble in the number 15. He's out of control again and tumbling down the order, and he's now down to 13th place. And now the championship would pretty much be tied.
Yeah, they would be tied as they're running right now, so he has to get going immediately. Oh man, he might have just thrown this away.
Was there contact between him and another driver who was out in the grass and 3 wide? It was that Disharoon in the 24 that started that whole thing, and that's what sent the 15 car around. Drama here for the championship in the DC Region SCCA iRacing League. Maloney and Halseal came in with Maloney at an advantage, but now it's all gone away.
Yeah, here's the bad thing. So Maloney can't really pass any more cars. The next car ahead of him is 7 seconds up the road. Meanwhile, actually for Ken Halseal, the next car is 1.7 seconds up the road, and it's Bob Shoemaker. So he can potentially gain another spot, maybe even 2, because Thomas Lee's right ahead of him.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of time on Shoemaker as well. So if Halseal passes at least 1 car, he would be the champion tonight, Finney. In 3 minutes and 50 seconds to do it, and he's there.
Well, the championship battle is definitely interesting. Not the way we would have thought it would have been.
No, I did not expect
for the win, not for essentially 13th and 16th place.
I did not expect an accident with both of our championship contenders. And here comes Ken Halseal. This is the path that could win in the championship. To the inside should be easy, and through he goes. Meanwhile, for 4th, Hauser and Alessandrini. Hauser's going to take the spot away.
Oh, deep into the corner for Hauser.
Oh, he's in the dirt.
Track, yeah. Going to yield that back to Alessandrini. Might lose the draft from that.
Lapras has gotten back by Max King. So, leader has transitioned back to what it was. Alessi and Chip Disharoon have traded spots down in turn 1. Oh, big cut for Alessi.
That was a bit opportunistic through that corner.
He might have to pull over. Yep. Yeah. He's been getting cut courses all night tonight.
Been very aggressive in that Ferrari.
It's the slowest Ferrari I've ever seen. No, not because of, let me clarify. Not because of Lewis, because that's a Skip Barber car, okay? Don't get angry.
Looking back at Ken Halseal, he's caught up to Thomas Lee pretty much for 14th place, and this is going to be end up 1 position behind.
Yeah, that would pretty much give Halseal the championship if he could just hang on to this. But the race isn't over yet. We still have yet to see what could happen.
Maloney now closed the gap from 7 to 5.6 seconds back to Nick Babin, so he's going to have to keep making more inroads here. As we're running out of laps, the leaders are going to come to 2 to go.
2 laps to go at New Jersey Motorsports Park in the final race of the season. And Max King and Lapras blocked by the 11. King swings back to driver's left. Drag race to turn 1 again.
This time with King on the outside. He's on the inside. Last time we tried to make this pass, going to go a little bit wide.
Yeah, he left a lot of space there, and that was just a safety thing.
I feel like he's been a little bit too shy heading into turn 1. Either on braking or on exit. He hasn't been capitalizing enough to get past him.
Give it a lap. He's going to go for it.
Yeah. Got no more choice. He's trying to make a run here into turn 4.
That was on the edge of control, dancing over the edge of the curbing.
Nope, gonna back out.
Yeah, he's gonna wait now. Best opportunity is on the front straightaway. Fake out the 11, dive to the inside. Maybe try to do what Alessandrini did to Maloney and just try to get a nose in that final corner. It's a risky move, but it might work. Battles all over the racetrack. How about for 3rd? Alessandrini and Hauser have caught Will Robbins. This is for podium.
Alessandrini on the outside, a little bit wide into the corner for him. Still going to be Robbins that holds the spot. Gottlieb going to come back across the line into turn 1 in the same order they're running right now.
Remember where Alessandrini started? All the way back in 21st after his flip in race 1. So his climb through the order was mostly done on that 2nd lap when we had that big pileup. But still a great drive for Alessandrini and working the outside, leaving a little bit of space there for the 20. But, well, this isn't... Oh, never mind. I was confused. Carry on.
Up for the front, leaders coming back to the line. It's going to be white flag in the air for both of them.
Here we
Racing,
go.
chasing each other down the front straightaway.
Lane change for the 11. He's picked his line. Max King on the outside. Is it going to be enough? Braking zone for turn 1. Leaves enough space, and inches between them.
He's not going to win this one, especially down into turn 2. He's going to have to yield there. You see Lappers go back in front. Meanwhile, for third, Alessandrini going to rocket up into the third spot.
And he got it done on the outside. Was a little bit more aggressive than Max King was at holding that outside lane, and DJ's gone through to third. Up front, though, the battle for the lead. I cannot imagine King is going to be satisfied with running second in a second race. Here he goes. He's taking a look to the inside. Here he comes up the inside. Late on the brakes. Slide to the inside of the 11. Lapras leaves space.
Well, Lappers goes wide, though, and that's going to allow King to have another run. They're still going to be side by side here through this complex.
Next corner's a right-hander. Lapras on the inside. King on the outside. Can Lapras re-clear the 139? He cannot.
Remember, we've been talking about these runs on the outside. He can make it work, but Lappers actually going to get clear here.
That might have been it. They're running out of corners. King is just far enough behind that he might struggle, but he's going to late apex this corner, trying to have a look at Lapras.
He just needs to worry about setup now here for the last corner.
Didn't
That's
do it.
his only shot.
Understeer. That was it. Run back to the checkers. It's 0.2 of a second. Lapras and Max King had an epic battle through the entire race. The Washington, D.C. Region SCCA iRacing League spring season comes to a close, and it's Christopher Lapras that's going to come on back. Checkered flag waves, and too far back is Max King. He's going to get it done. Lapras does. King second, Alessandrini third, Hauser and Robbins.
Oh, to the line. This is for the podium spot. It's going to be Alessandrini
by a nose.
Wow.
Robbins in fifth, and championship implications for Ryan Maloney with the issue down in turn 1, the crash that he had with Ken Ausiel. Maloney will finish 13th, and I don't think it's going to be enough.
No, it's definitely not going to be enough here as they come back across the line. He'll finish ahead of Ausiel in this race, but not by the points gap he needs.
It's going to be by about a position or two, just by a position. Ausiel is going to finish 14th place. That'll wrap up the season. Here's a look at your race results. I did not expect to see what we saw. I thought Maloney was going to have it after that crash, and then the spin the second time is what did him in.
Yeah, it really did. No recovery from that point. At that point, it was 3 wide into the final corner, and we've seen 2 wide be a bit of a problem for some people. 3 wide definitely can't work through there. So unfortunately for him, that essentially took him out of the battle.
We're going to talk to both of them here in just a couple minutes, as well as Lapras and Max King, if they're available. So stay with us. We'll be right back to talk to your championship winner and your race winners. So stay with us. Welcome back live to Sim TV in the DC region SCCA iRacing League. We're here now with our second place finisher in both races, Max King. Max, tonight was really wild, both races, in fact. Race 1, you got second place after the two in front of you tangled and were tumbling in the final corner. And then race 2, we're fighting with Christopher Lapras the entire night. Walk us through both nights, or both races rather, and fighting Lapras on that last lap to try to get that race 2 victory.
Oh man, so that was a great race between me and Chris. I was trying all I can to keep it clean, but it was just so tough in that last couple, probably the last sector of the track. He was just so good on the exits that I couldn't really get a good enough run on him to make a for sure pass down the turn 1. I was trying the inside and the outside, but I got him on the inside on race 1 there, and so when he was coming up for the last lap of the race 2, he hugged the inside really hard, so he wasn't going to make that mistake again. So I tried to send it around the outside. Probably messed up my run a little bit on the last lap on turn 2, and then I couldn't really get him back there. But it was great racing all around, and I was surprised about the finish in race 1. I was coming around the corner like, oh wait, that's for position. All right, let's go get him. Let's go.
Tonight, it seemed like these cars were pretty tricky to drive, especially through the high-speed corners when you were side-by-side with somebody. What kind of precautions do you have to take running side-by-side through a corner at high speed without a whole lot of downforce? And how worried were you about wheel-to-wheel contact, especially with Lapras there in the closing laps?
Yeah, I was nervous about it. I tried to give him as much racing room as I could without slowing myself down. I mean, we touched a little bit in race 1, but it was just barely wheel-to-wheel contact on the last lap. So I knew from that, like, all right, we'll be racing each other pretty hard. I'm going to give each other a little bit more room, especially if we're racing for the win here. And when you're sliding it through those 100-mile-an-hour corners, side by side, that's pretty tough. And with these cars being a little bit unpredictable when you're out in the marbles and stuff like that, it's a little bit harder to handle. But I think we did a good job of getting each other racing room. And if anyone wants to watch how to race each other clean and race each other hard, I'd say that's a racing 101 tutorial right there. Anyone can go watch that, and that's how you should do it.
Racing 101 for Max King, but second place in both races tonight. A really solid effort, Max. Thanks for talking to us, and hopefully we'll see you back next season.
Absolutely, and get some more wins.
Absolutely. Have a good night.
Thanks.
Moving on now to Christopher Lapras in the number 11 car. And Chris, tonight we were just talking to Max King, and he had a blast racing with you in those closing laps. He said that you kind of had him figured out and were being a lot more defensive those closing laps. Just walk us through the epic battle you had there with Max and trying to keep him behind you at the end of race 2. Hey, Chris, you got a copy?
I do.
Hey, okay.
Sorry about that.
No, you're all good. Did you hear the question, or do you want me to repeat for you?
No, I heard the question. No, that was pretty much the most fun I've had in a while. And in both races, I was around King pretty much the entire race 1 and race 2, and it was super fun. Blast.
This racetrack has a lot of high-speed corners, and these cars don't have a whole lot of downforce. So when you're hugging the inside, how much of this is trusting the guy behind you to not pinch you down too hard and make wheel-to-wheel contact, and how much is it you taking precautionary measures not to slide out wide?
It's a little bit of both, but fortunately, if you're around people who think the same, everybody leaves enough room, just enough room, and we continue on. But that was, like I said, super fun and super clean, and my hat's off to Max. He did a great race.
Chris, congratulations. It was a really solid effort there fighting Max King. So congrats on the win, and hopefully we'll see you again next season.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Moving on now to our season champion, Ken Houseal, and it wasn't without a whole lot of drama, Ken. Tonight, race 1 went out and won that one and put yourself in position to win the championship, and then we got to race 2, and it all went wrong on the second lap. Walk us through what happened there and there on out to get yourself that championship.
Yeah, so like you said, race 1, I saw once they battled a bit, it just sort of cruised away, so had really good pace. That was good. Race 2, I mean, it was 3 wide. I'm like, I'm just gonna back off and let these guys crash, and they didn't. But I think I caught out Ryan by braking a little earlier or just going a little slower than he was expecting. Didn't quite work out, and cars and pieces of cars scattered all across the track in turn 1. And unfortunately, the car felt mostly okay, but I had a meatball flag, so I had to come in and pit. But oh well, they just ended up right behind him at the end, and it was enough to get the championship. So that's pretty cool.
Looking back on the season, this is the first time that we've seen this car race here on SimTV. Tell me about this race car and how it races, and maybe why this car is such a great choice for a racing series like this one.
Oh man, there was a lot of people at the start of the season that asked for the Skippy, and it was like, okay, I'll go drive it. And I was never a big fan of it before the new tire model, and man, the new tire model changed it. It is so much more enjoyable to drive, and the racing is fantastic. I mean, this thing drafts really well, especially here. I mean, you could make 9/10 to a full second on a lap with a draft. It was pretty crazy. So the racing this season has been really close. Everybody, generally speaking, has been really respectful. And I mean, okay, people make mistakes, stuff happens, but it's kind of like it's slow enough that most people can hop in and approach it. So that's good, and it's fast enough to keep it interesting. And they are rental cars in real life, and you really have to go out there and flog them, treat them like you don't own it. So.
Ken, an epic drive, an epic comeback there in the closing laps of race number 2. So congratulations. Enjoy the celebration for your championship, and hopefully we'll see you again in the fall when the seasons pick back up again. It was a pleasure talking to you, and congrats again.
Thank you, guys. The coverage has been great this season, so keep it up. Good stuff.
Thanks a lot, Ken. Have a good night. And with that, that's going to end everything here this season. Couldn't get a hold of Ryan Maloney here tonight, Finian, but disappointing end to his season for sure after being the dominant car for most of it and ended up falling back in the last couple of races of the season, and Halcyon snuck one out.
Yeah, just at the very end, only in this round was he able to finally take back the points lead. Obviously, where it mattered the most. So Halcyon going to take the championship away, but also just great racing in general for both races for the lead. Saw some very entertaining stuff. And curious to see what these guys got us to work for the next season, which should be for quite a while.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little while before we come back with these guys. But what a season! This car, spectacular car to race, spectacular car to watch. Very excited. The GT4 race last week was also a lot of fun. So looking forward to a summer of real world racing for a lot of these guys, and we're going to meet up again in the fall potentially and do this all over again. So thank you so much for watching and joining us here on SimTV. If you'd like to find out more, you can visit our website at simtvbroadcasting.com or in the links in the video description. We've also got merchandise for sale now, which is a limited time for several of those items, so make sure you check that out on simtvbroadcasting.com/store. We will also be commentating events in person at the Grid Life Festivals this season, starting with NJMP Motorsports Park April 18th and 19th, the Grid Life Midwest Festival June 4th through 7th, and throughout the rest of the summer. And if anybody else is in the Syracuse, New York area, I will be at the Syracuse Motorsports Expo at the Syracuse Fairgrounds this weekend on Saturday the 14th. As well. So hopefully we'll see some of you guys there. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you this fall.